Moving on to item 5, written questions from the public. We have 2, beginning with Mr. Thorpe.
Council, when you do reply, could you speak up a bit, because it's not a very good sound system in this room. You've got a quiet voice. Yeah, right, okay. Now the Ulster House refurbishment is supposed to be 114k on the available budget. But as Councillor May hasn't allowed me to be part of the discussions as promised, and my FOIA application has only been partly addressed, which may force me to ask commissioners to look into why this is. At this moment in time, I have no way of knowing how much the trust will be contributed to the cost over and above the amount of 22k we are committed in our trust budget. So my question is twofold. When will we be allowed to see these costings after being presented with a paid company, and why are the funds allocated to the neighbourhood office being transferred to the Lattenbush Centre when they could be used to refurbish Osler House?
Thank you for your question, and I fully recognise your passion and commitment to this project. As you are aware, this has been fully reviewed in light of rising construction costs, the state of disrepair to building, and ultimately value for money to the taxpayer. At the time of the proposal coming forward before the pandemic, a capital budget of £225,520 is allocated to cover works and professional fees required to bring the building up to a lettable standard. Since then, construction costs and inflation have risen dramatically, and financial restraints on the council have increased. The most recent quote for the works to bring the property up to a lettable standard from HDS, submitted through a business case, was £349,172. However, given the rising inflation, construction costs and worsening state of the building, it's a realistic and accurate assumption that the works required would be in excess of £400,000. I must be honest that this presents a difficult situation, and certainty about the project is urgently required. Therefore, officers and I will arrange to meet with you next week to discuss this and next steps. We are absolutely committed to investing in health and wellbeing, as Councillor Charles will set out shortly, and further to the regeneration of Watt Street neighbourhood, and I'll announce further plans to do so in the very near future. With regard to your question about the vehement from the neighbourhood office to the Lattenbush Centre, this is in line with the regeneration plans we're working on and allows us to address an urgent situation at the Lattenbush Centre. Do you have a supplementary, Mr. Thorpe?
Yes, I have, but I appreciate that you will meet with us in a week's time or whenever it's convenient. Going from the non-housing capital budget Appendix 2 for the quarter 2 22-23, it clearly states the Lattenbush Centre has a current budget of $642,243 and a projected outrun of $528,183, leaving a balance of $114,060. So I ask why you're drawing on funds from the other building. The community buildings has a current budget of $929,475 with a projected outrun of $472,880, leaving a balance of $456,595. And on the total financial management, which includes Lattenbush Centre, etc., it has a budget of $4,358,605 with a projected outrun of $3,413,994.
If we can get to the end of the questions,
$944,611. So how can it be said that there's no monies available to repair Osler House and support the Potter Street Health and Wellbeing Hub when this proposal is clearly needed?
Thank you for your further question. I think you've taken us through the capital programme. As you'll recognise, the Council has a large number of issues to address in the non-housing capital programme on a number of buildings around the town. And each of those budgets are allocated to specific projects. They're not figures plucked out of thin air, hence the specific nature of the figures. As I said, specifically on your project, we'll be meeting with you in the next week or so to discuss this further. I believe we have a second question, Mr.
Yes, I do have a second question. Potter Street Health and Wellbeing Trust proposal clearly follows not only the Robert Wood Johnson model, but also the Core 20 Plus. If Harlow is classed as the second worst town in Essex and the 20th in the whole of England, for deprivation, child poverty, health, crime, etc., and the various different bodies I've been working with, such as Harlow Poverty Alliance, Heart and West Essex, ICB, recognise the value of wellbeing hearts as such as the Trust is proposing. Why is this council putting costs before the wellbeing of Harlow's population when adequate funds are available in the capital budget to push the Trust proposal forward?
Councillor Jones.
Thank you, Chair. The Health and Wellbeing Strategy includes a number of statistics that paint a sobering picture of the key public health issues facing our town today. That is why the Council has taken the decision to depart from the previous approaches used to tackle health and wellbeing challenges, to look at ways, as community leader, to curb the socio-economic determinants that compound the issues highlighted in the strategy. The Council's approach will be governed not only by the strategy, but also the actions it agrees to take forward with key partners to address health and wellbeing inequalities in the town. Part of the ambition of the strategy is to seek further investment from Essex County Council as the lead public health authority and other health bodies to arrest the trend of avoidable wellbeing issues. The Council is looking at how it achieves the better outreach of wellbeing services across the town, and part of that work has been the continued funding of the community hub operated by Rainbow Services. There is a continued dialogue with our local healthcare leaders at Essex County Council through a partnership approach that the Council hopes to build on further as officers provide evidence to them about the effectiveness of the hub approach. In taking all this forward, it is always important to look carefully at how we deploy the Council's limited resources across the town. The Council is committed to actively working with the Potter Street Wellbeing Hub Trust to seek to find venues from which it can commence running some wellbeing activities in the Potter Street area. Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Thorpe, do you have a supplementary question?
No, I haven't, but I would like to take the opportunity to thank both yourself and Councillor Giles that we will have an opportunity to meet and discuss this in full rather than being pushed to one side as it appears to have been done for the last 2 years. So thank you very much.